Hey guys, Matt here. I thought today we would talk about some backpacking gear that I've simply moved on from and will never use again. Now, like most backpackers, I've gone through a ton of different gear transitions and I love trying new gear, and I'm always on the lookout for, the next piece of gear that's going to make my backpacking gear loadout that much better, make life that much more comfortable for me out on trail. And I just thought today we would talk about some of those gear transitions and sort of why I made some of those decisions to never use some of this gear again. Now, as I talk about making life more comfortable for myself out on trail, that's sort of the primary purpose of my YouTube channel is, helping you guys out and showing you guys the things that I've done to make life more comfortable for myself out on trail. And hopefully, some of that information can help you guys out and make life more comfortable for you out on trail, so you can have better backpacking trips, maybe push longer days, or just enjoy yourself a lot more when you're out there on a backpacking trip. So if that sounds like something that interests you, maybe consider clicking on the subscribe button over here. It really helps out the channel. The first piece of gear we're going to talk about is something I'm sure everybody has at some point or currently carries in their backpacking gear loadout, and that is paracord. Now this is about a 25-foot chunk of 550 paracord. It's really cheap. It's really, really easy to find. I mean, you can get it on eBay and pretty much any outdoor store that you can find out there. Chances are you're going to be able to find some 550 paracord. But the reason that I shifted away from using paracord is, like I said, this is a 25-foot chunk, and you compare that to a 50-foot chunk of a 2mm Zingit line. The Zingit line does pack down significantly smaller, and it's about a third the weight of the paracord. It's also got a stronger braking strength. I do believe the braking strength on the Zingit is 700 pounds. Now, if I'm wrong about that, I will put that up on the screen for you guys. I find it a lot easier to work with as well. When you're tying knots and, rigging things up and, throwing a bear line over a branch. I found the 550 cord was just a lot more prone to knotting up and getting tangled. Just sort of the coarseness of the little outer casing on the 550 cord would tend to get snagged up on bark and that kind of stuff. And I've never had that problem with the Zingit line, so that's kind of part of the reason I made the transition. Like I said, it's lighter, it packs down smaller, you can carry more of it for less weight. To me, it's no-brainer, and Zingit is ridiculously easy to find. You can get Zingit at pretty much any of the outdoor cottage manufacturers. It's pretty cheap. You can get 25 feet for about $5. So a 50-foot chunk is going to cost you $10. Yeah, it's a little bit more pricey than getting the paracord, but it's lighter, it's stronger, it's less prone to tangles. To me, it's just a better choice than going with paracord. This one here might shock some people. We're going to talk about ditching my hang time hook. This here is one of the very original hang time hooks. These were done on, the 3D printer before they were even really mass produced. Pretty sure I was one of the first people to kind of jump on board and order one of these. What this guy does is it clips up on the ridge line of your hammock, or if you're in a tent, you can hang a line across inside your tent and clip it on there. And you've got this little clasp here, and you can clip your phone inside, and you can watch a movie or read a book or whatever you want to do. I love my movies when I'm out on trail. I like winding down the day and throwing a movie on, or throwing on a show. It's just kind of one of my things. And I've been using the hang time hook for a number of years now. It was one of the first things I bought when I got my hammock. But unfortunately, we are moving on. So I guess not really moving away from the hang time hook, just, transitioning to one of the newer, more improved ones. It's got a couple more little attachment points, and, they've got a little clip here that you can hang your water bottle in. I might pick that up and try that out. You can wrap your headphones and cords and all that kind of stuff around there. Just super, super handy little thing. And I'm going to be going with the newer ones going forward. I've got an orange one, and this little kind of whitish clear one here actually glows in the dark. Haven't actually had a chance to use it yet. I've got a backpacking trip coming up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and I will be taking this guy out and seeing how that works out for me. Now, if the hang time hook wasn't a bit of a shock, this next one definitely will be, because we are moving on from the Katadyn BeFree kind of sorta. This is my original Katadyn BeFree that I've been running for the last 3 or 4 years now. I've got hundreds of liters pumped through this filter. It's performed fantastic. It really hasn't slowed down a whole lot over the last couple of years. Some pretty heavy use in all seasons in the Canadian Rockies. I've used this in the wintertime, spring, summer, fall. I've ran silty water through here. I've ran clear water through here. I think the Katadyn BeFree is the best filter that you can get out there on the market. All that said, you may be wondering, why are we moving on from the Katadyn BeFree? And the easiest answer I can give you is we have a brand new Katadyn BeFree that I'm going to be going with. Katadyn actually reached out to me and fired me an email and said that, you know, they had seen a couple of my videos where I had, you know, spoken very highly of the BeFree, and they appreciated the support and were wondering if I'd be interested in getting a new one. Now, I didn't really have a reason for getting a new one. My old one was performing just fine, but hey, I'm not going to say no to new gear. So thank you, Cat Eye, for the brand new BeFree. Next up, we're going to talk about the Outdoor Vitals pillow, and I should probably inflate the Outdoor Vitals pillow if we're going to talk about it. When I first got the Outdoor Vitals pillow and first started using it, I spoke pretty highly of it. The first couple trips I used the pillow, I took it out with my hammock. Now, if you guys know, I don't necessarily use a pillow all that often in the hammock, but you know, Outdoor Vitals was kind enough to send me the pillow and asked if I would test it and try it out. So I used it on my hammock because that's where I was sleeping. And I found in my hammock it works fine. You know, I use the pillow pretty much deflated, you know, like that's literally about the amount of air I will use in the pillow when I'm sleeping in my hammock. I just need something just to kind of cradle just under my neck a little tiny bit. I mean, I can get away with nothing, but you know, if I've got that little bit of extra comfort, I'm going to take it. In the hammock, the Outdoor Vitals pillow worked great for me. But when it comes to ground sleeping with the Outdoor Vitals pillow, this pillow only lasted me one backpacking trip, and I made the quick decision that this just was not the pillow for me. Now, when I say it lasted one backpacking trip, it actually only lasted about 2 to 3 hours the very first night that I used it, sleeping in the tent on the ground. I don't know if it'll really show up here on camera, but when you lay on one side of the pillow, so I will squeeze it to kind of simulate, this side here kind of, you know, the air just kind of disperses and this side balloons up. Now, anytime that I kind of shifted in the night and went too far to one side of the pillow, like if you can keep your head perfectly in the center here, it works fine. But if your head weight shifts to, you know, these bigger sections on the side, when you squeeze it, it inflates this side and my head would roll off the pillow. And it's very smooth. It's the exact same material on the front and back. It also doesn't have a strap, and the pillow would just shoot out the side. You know, I don't sleep with a mummy bag. I use a quilt, so there's nothing really to hold the pillow in place, and I found I was just constantly chasing it, and I just threw it to the bottom of the tent and went back to using what I think is a better overall pillow, and that's the Trekology Aluft 2.0. Now, I'm not going to show up that pillow here. I've done an entire video on the Trekology 2.0 pillow, and I'll pop that up here for you guys. So if you're interested in seeing that pillow and kind of seeing why I think it's a better pillow than the Outdoor Vitals pillow or other inflatable pillows, check that video out. Now, this next one is a piece of gear that I personally had really, really high hopes for when I first picked it up, and it's something that I get suggested to me quite regularly in the comment section in my videos, and that is a poncho tarp. Now, this specific one here, this is the Teton Sports poncho tarp. I've had this for a couple years now, and for the most part, it's just kind of been collecting dust in my gear room. Anytime I get comments on using ponchos as rain gear, everybody says, you know, you throw the poncho over you and then you throw it up over your pack and it keeps everything dry. Now, from my experience, it is damn near impossible to get the poncho over yourself with your backpack on and then get it up over your pack without it bunching up on the top of your backpack. It was a miserable experience. And it got even worse as soon as I started hiking with the poncho on. The material is really lightweight, and any kind of wind or breeze, you know, it just flaps up everywhere and you're getting the poncho blown in your face and you're getting wet anyways. And after one backpacking trip, trying out the poncho as sort of my rain gear, I decided that it just was not for me, and I ditched it completely. For me, going forward, I'm going to continue to use rain jackets. Ponchos, I don't know, I don't get the hype behind them. I think that they are far more hassle than they're even worth. And I personally would not suggest a poncho for anybody on a backpacking trip. I don't know, I think they kind of suck. Now, as we've been talking about backpacking gear that I'm never going to use again and I moved away from, you know, I've done a couple other videos on backpacking gear that I have absolutely no interest in getting. And I'll fire those right here for you guys. So when you're done with this video, consider giving one of those a look. I'll see you guys over there. And as always, I'm Matty. Thank you so dang much for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.